From switching timelines to protection from a ghost, here's what you missed last week on my TikTok. What's up, glitches, and welcome back to Spooky Story Time. If you're new here, my name is Jess. People call me Auntie Matrix, and I read your weird and unexplainable stories. All the stories that we read here are true stories that real people send in. So if you're into stuff like glitches in the Matrix, the paranormal, dreams, and aliens, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss a video. Also, make sure to check out my Auntie Matrix merch and all of my other links over at TcV&x.com. The link is down in the description. All the stories that you are about to see were posted last week over on my TikTok, and I've put together a little compilation for you. If you're looking to skip to a specific story, the timestamps are in the description as well. Grab your favorite snack, a comfort item to squeeze, and let's get weird. Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 221. I died and now I am very different. I vividly remember my past. Hi, Auntie Matrix. Hi! Prior to the pandemic, my life was fairly ordinary. I was enjoying a meal with friends when, out of the blue, I suffered a cardiac arrest. It was a terrifying ordeal, and in that moment, I truly believed I had crossed over to the other side, which is peaceful and we shouldn't fear death, but I know it's still very scary. But what followed has been nothing short of bizarre and unsettling. After that near-death experience, I began to notice a series of inexplicable events. It's like I've glimpsed a hidden layer of reality that most people are unaware of. Faces started to seem familiar, but I couldn't place them. Deja vu's becoming a recurring theme in my life, as if I was trapped in a never-ending loop of deja vu moments in reality mixed with my dreams. What? And stranger still, I developed an uncanny ability to sense energies and predict minor events before they happened. It's as if I've become part of the unknown. Now 4 years have passed and I can confidently say that I am not the same person I used to be. The constant feeling of loneliness and isolation has taken a toll on me. I can't help but question the nature of existence itself. Could it be that we don't truly die? Perhaps we merely transition to a different realm, another dimension of reality? It's just a theory, but the memory of that moment when I thought I was gone remains vivid in my mind. But here's the part that truly terrifies me. I've started to believe that we are currently experiencing a tumultuous collision of timelines. It's as though the threads of reality are unraveling and we're entering into a storm of darkness. I'm not sure what's coming, but I have an ominous sense that it's something profoundly unsettling and potentially catastrophic. In these uncertain times, I can only hope that we are prepared for whatever lies ahead. The world seems to be shifting and we might be standing on the precipice of a profound and sinister change. All I can do is share my experiences and hope that somewhere out there, someone else has felt the same way and that they've also been touched by this eerie transformation, and that together we can try to make sense of this enigmatic journey into the unknown. I'm trying to know what is purpose, why this death experience opened my eyes, but once I figured it out, I would love to spread it and somehow I can understand what it all means. Okay, first of all, I'm wondering if you said that you thought that you died and then you said that we shouldn't be fearful of the other side, even though it is kind of scary because it's very peaceful. Does that mean that you had like a full-on NDE? Like, do you remember the other side? Or do you just remember feelings from when you passed away? Second of all, what you're talking about, I believe, is quantum immortality. I was actually just thinking about this today, right? Because I am open to all things, and I'm wondering, how can we have quantum immortality, but at the same time have where when you pass away, your soul goes back home, like to the other side? I'm wondering if it has to do with like, you're not done with what you need to do on Earth yet. And in that case, quantum immortality happens, right? So you die. Quantum immortality, if you don't know, is like you die and you immediately just switch into a very close timeline. Normally, it's so close that people don't even know that it's happened, right? Because things are so close. But in some cases, things are a little off and someone can tell. And in this case, it feels like you can tell. Maybe you weren't done with whatever you needed to do, so quantum immortality happened. But then at the same time, you said you remember that it's peaceful on the other side. So I'm honestly not sure. I'm not sure if it was just an NDE. And also the fact that you're saying that you're having constant deja vu. Man, I'm kind of like lost. I'm kind of lost on this one. As far as this future that you think is like potentially catastrophic, I think a lot of that is up to us. And we need to, please, if you're watching this video, don't feed your energy into all the fucking bullshit that's happening everywhere. Don't feed your energy into that, because everyone focusing on that gives it more power. So we need to pull away from that. This is why I don't watch the news. None of that. This is all very crazy. And I'm honestly really not sure what my exact opinion is on this. I want to hear yours. Tell me your opinions in the comments. Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 222, Protection from the Mirror. When I was a kid, I used to suffer with excessive heavy nosebleeds a lot. When I was around 8 or 9, me and my other 2 sisters were in bed asleep sharing a room. We had a mirror hooked onto the bedroom wall, and there was no way it could be removed unless you lifted it from the hook. It was a long hook. It would require you to physically raise it to a certain height to get it off the hook, if you can imagine what I mean. This is important for later. I was in such a deep, heavy sleep when all of a sudden the whole house was awoken by the most almighty crashing sound. This obviously alarmed my parents, who came rushing into our room to investigate. When they entered our room, they were shocked to see that the mirror had somehow unhooked itself and had fallen onto the floor. Even more shocking was that the mirror did not shatter. There wasn't even a scratch of damage. Bearing in mind it was at a reasonable height, and by the sound of the fall, it was a forceful drop from the wall to the floor. Everyone was confused, but it was thanks to the loud noise alerting my parents that they saw me almost unconscious with blood all around me due to a nosebleed which occurred in my sleep. There was so much blood that if I continued to sleep through it, I would have likely choked on my own blood. Oh my God. We all think that the mirror crashing was thanks to someone or something watching out for us and giving a warning.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
You had some sort of good spirit or entity or something that was helping you out, protecting you and looking over you, making sure you're okay. Maybe it was an angel, maybe it was a guide, maybe it was a spirit of an ancestor or a loved one. I think that's so crazy though, that like it took the whole mirror off of there and like slammed it down so that, you know, it would wake up your parents, but there was no scratches. It wasn't broken. Like the mirror wasn't broken. Crazy! Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 223, Rainbow People. Hello, Auntie Matrix. Hi! I'm so glad I can finally share this story with someone who is a believer of the unknown. Yeah! Last year, my boyfriend and I were in our bedroom watching TV. It was on a weekend and a sunny afternoon. As we were watching TV, we both heard the sound of a bicycle bell coming from our bedroom window, which was behind us. Let me paint this picture a little better. It was about 12 in the afternoon, and the sun was shining behind us so that we could see the shadows of cars driving by, as well as birds. We all know shadows on the wall are black, right? Well, we could see the lady who was riding her bike in a shadow form because of the way the sun was shining. As she was ringing her bell, we watched her shadow across the wall in front of us, but as she passed by the window, the wall that was to my left showed her shadow in color form. The color of the bike, the basket on her bike, and her yellow dress and sun hat. What? My boyfriend and I just stared at each other and said nothing. My sister was on her way that day to do her laundry. As she walked through the front door, she called for us and came in and stood at the doorway of our bedroom. She asked what's going on. She said we looked like we had seen a ghost or something. We tell her what we experienced, and she laughs at us and tells us that it was impossible. As we were trying to repeat the story to her again, we hear a basketball in the distance. The basketball court is near our house, and from the sound of the ball, we knew whoever it was most definitely was headed in that direction, and they would have to pass our house to get there. My sister says, okay, let's see if this happens again, all sarcastic. Well, it was 2 boys bouncing a ball, and then we could see their shadows in color on the front wall this time, and the wall on my left. The boys were both wearing blue shirts, and one was wearing black shorts, and the other had on yellow and blue shorts. We could see their socks and shoes, and everything was in color on our white walls as the shadow, but in color. My sister gets up and grabs her laundry basket and heads for the front door, terrified. My boyfriend and I were still in shock over this for a few days, and we never mentioned the story to anyone. What could this mean? This is very interesting. I don't think I have ever experienced that in my entire life. I'm trying to think if there's any way that the light could be hitting something so it was projecting colors onto your wall instead of just a shadow. Because we know, like, if you have like a little, like this, right? Can you see this thing? This is like a little prism, right? And if I have the light hit this and it hits the wall, actually, I don't even know if you can see colors, but you can definitely see like light and not shadow. I'm wondering, was there something in your room? No, but how would it project something so huge unless the whole window was made out of like that kind of, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I mean, I know what I'm trying to say, but do you understand what I'm trying to say? I feel like those things would be too big to see their entire shadows. And you know what? If that happened, no, because if that happened and the light reflected off of it, it wouldn't reflect the actual, would it? Okay, I went and I Googled, and the only things I can find in Google about colored shadows, people can make shadows of objects colored, but only like the color of whatever light they're projecting at the object, right? So like if you had a pencil standing here, and the pencil was orange, but you projected a couple of like green and yellow light, like you're gonna get green and yellow, you're not gonna get the the color of the object, if that makes sense. It has to do with the lights that are projecting. So that would not be an explanation because the sunlight is just regular old light. It's not a certain color. And also it was the exact colors of what they were wearing, right? If somebody like is a scientist and can tell me an explanation for this, please let me know. But I don't see one. So I think that's friggin' crazy. I want to know, did it ever happen again? That's one of my questions. Did it happen again? Or was that it? It was like one day, weird colored shadows. That's it. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 224. Someone broke into my apartment and I saw it in my dream. Hey, Auntie Matrix. Hi! This is super long, but worth the read. This is probably the scariest and creepiest thing that has ever happened to me. I've always had a strong intuition, but over a year ago is when I started to really listen and take it seriously. I used to smoke marijuana to help me fall asleep, but as a result, I would rarely dream or remember my dreams. While trying to help my insomnia in other ways, I stopped using THC/CBD and I started having regular dreams. I would have random dreams and sometimes some form of them would actually come true. I bought a dream journal and every morning I would scribble down my dream as fast as I could to make sure that I included as much detail as possible. The journal had prompts I could fill out, including a section where I could draw what I saw. One night I had a very detailed dream that someone broke into my bedroom and made a complete mess and stole from me. My POV was me coming home and walking into my room to find my room ransacked. My clothes and stuff were everywhere, and specifically some special items I kept in my closet were gone. The bedroom in my dream wasn't my real bedroom, but I remember that there was a second door in my room leading outside that was wide open. As I woke up, wrote it down, and even drew a picture of what I saw with the date I had my dream. The next night, early in the morning at exactly 4:26 a.m., I was sleeping on my back and without any reason, my eyes popped open. I sleep with an eye mask every night, but the mask wasn't covering my eyes and it was on my forehead. In an instant, I went from sleeping to wide awake, staring at my bedroom door. In the same second, I saw a shadow open my bedroom door and take a step inside my room. I knew it was not my roommate and that someone was inside my apartment. I didn't scream, but instead I said, "Oh my God," in a monotone and calm way. The second he heard my voice and realized I was awake, he left my apartment without making a single sound. Oh my God, thank God. I instantly got up and reached for my bat. Highly recommend a bedroom weapon. I don't know why, but again, my instinct was to investigate and not call 911, even though I had it pulled up on my phone. I went into my hallway and then into the living room/kitchen area to see no one but my balcony door wide open. Someone had climbed up a fence and came into my apartment through my balcony. After I woke up my roommate and her boyfriend, both who had slept through the whole thing, I called the police and they came to take our statements and forensics took evidence. I didn't think anything was taken until they asked for our IDs, and that's when I realized my entire purse was stolen. Then I remembered my dream. I truly believe that my spirit guides guided me to dream again, gave me the dream, and also woke me up. I believe things could have been much worse if I didn't listen to my intuition and the signs given to me. My wallet was found at a gas station the next day, but the man who broke in was never caught. Nothing this extreme has happened to me since, but I continue to listen to my dreams and feelings. Side note, I know in my heart it was a man based on the height and build I saw, even though I saw no features, just a shadow.
Thank God for your premonition, man.
I can't believe that person literally climbed up and came in your balcony. Like, that's kind of scary. It's bad enough someone's breaking into your home, but someone's like, you're not even worried about your front door. Like, someone's climbing up your goddamn balcony. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 225, Paranormal Visitation and Portal Story. Hello, Auntie Matrix from Cincinnati. Hi! I have a couple of odd stories from my childhood I've been meaning to share with you. The first story is when I was 3 or 4 years old and in preschool, so it was about 81 or 82. I had walked out of my bedroom in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, and when I looked out through my small hallway and into the room in the front of the house, I saw 3 translucent figures that looked strikingly human but with no facial features. The father was sitting down on the couch we had and still do, with his wife standing up between him and the front wall that has a huge window. The wife had her right arm on his shoulder and her left arm on the ghost child's shoulder. Upon seeing this, I closed my bedroom door and quickly went back to bed. I don't blame you. For years after that, I would constantly have dreams of being in my pink silky pajamas in an alien aircraft that was in the shape of the typical flying saucer. In these dreams, I was with gray aliens standing by a control panel, giving them directions and working the controls with them. What? I am now 45 and I remember it like it was yesterday. I had stopped having these dreams around 4th or 5th grade, which is around 87 or 89. Another story I have is from when I was in either kindergarten or 1st grade, and my childhood best friend and I were playing with a plastic toy replica of the General Lee from the Dukes of Hazzard. My childhood friend drew it back and launched it from the front porch and into the front bushes. I had asked my mom to fetch it out since he and I were still small children, and she said that she would, but in the end she never did. I kept looking for it in the spot where it had been launched, and I could never see it where it was supposed to have been alien land. Till this day, I believe my friend had inadvertently sent it into a parallel/alternate reality. To this day, these stories still give me the creeps and an eerie feeling of constantly being watched. Thank you for reading it, and I hope it didn't creep you out too much. Okay, the despairing thing obviously is some weird glitch in the Matrix or a portal. It happens all the time. People are just, things just are gone. They're just gone. But can we just talk about the other thing? Can we talk about that you saw like an entire little family, like a little ghost family? I wonder if that was the family that like potentially lived in the house before you. Do you know any history of the house? Like, did anything tragic happen in the house? Or if there was all three of them there, like a mother, a father, and a child ghost, and they were like sitting together on the couch or whatever was happening, I feel like a tragedy had to have happened to like all three of them at the same time, right? Otherwise, they were some kind of like aliens, because then you were having the dreams about being with the Greys on their spaceship and you were giving them directions. That's so crazy. I wonder if you were like, if you were an alien in a past life, or if those dreams were not actually dreams and maybe those beings were aliens, but you didn't say that they looked like gray aliens. You said they just looked like translucent beings. I was gonna say, what if those were aliens that you saw? And then what if those weren't dreams? What if you actually were up there? They would like take you up there and abduct you, and maybe you were helping them. Maybe you have some knowledge that you didn't even know about. Who really knows, right? That's just where my brain is going. What about you guys? Let me know in the comments. Here are more creepy TikToks that you guys have tagged me in.
Okay. Somebody please explain to me what is going on, and then I'm not going crazy. Okay? If you know me in real life, don't make fun of me for this. I have a daughter who turned 6 months 3 days ago. Okay? She has an R name. First letter is an R. About 4 months ago, I had a very, very vivid dream that she didn't exist, and then instead of having her, my fiance and I decided that we were going to foster. And after months and months and months of not getting a call for a foster placement, we finally got a call, and it was for a baby girl, and her name was a very uncommon R name as well. And in the dream, she was like the same age as my daughter, same size, she looked exactly the same. And in this dream, she eventually had to go back to her parents, like reunification, whatever. And I remember asking the social worker in my dream, like, you know, why can't we keep her? This isn't fair. I've raised her. She's like a daughter to me. And then I also asked the social worker in my dream, I'm like, she would get along so well with my daughter. And the social worker looks me in the eye and goes, don't you talk about my daughter here. She does not exist. And then I woke up. So I'm like, okay, that's a little freaky, but whatever. This dream was so vivid that for the past 4 months since I've had it, I say probably once or twice a week to my fiance, I wonder how she's doing, this baby. And I'm not saying the name because it'll make sense in a second, okay? But it's another R name. So my daughter has an R name, and this dream baby has an R name as well. That's very uncommon, okay? So we go to the library today. That baby was there. She was there. Like I said to my fiance last night, I wonder how that baby is doing, and she was there. It gets weirder. She's with her grandparents. And Grandpa says, oh yeah, she just had her first birthday. I said, oh, that's really sweet. He goes, yeah, she had her first birthday 3 days ago. She is exactly 6 months older than my 6-month-old daughter. She is exactly double her age. When we were at the library, this little baby could not leave me alone. Like, she wanted nothing to do with her older sister who was there, nothing to do with Grandma and Grandpa. She was magnetic to me. Like, chills. So, if anybody has an explanation on what that was that, like, a sign? Was that 2 timelines folding together? Was it me getting my wishes answered on making sure that she was okay? Was it a glitch in the Matrix type thing? Like, somebody, anybody, please help. Because I'm so happy she's okay, but also, what?
Wow, this is a good one.
Okay, I have been getting so many stories about people who seem to be living multiple lives, right? Like one in their waking life and one in their dream life. And I know you only had this dream the one time. I think you only said you had this dream the one time. But this kind of seems like the same thing, right? Not that you are like living two lives, more like you saw one of your other lives while you were sleeping. So if you believe in like the multiverse and that there's all different versions of us and all different timelines and it's all happening all at the same time, you can like tap into that. Sometimes those can bleed over into one another. And so I'm going to say that you got a glimpse of like another timeline or whatever that you are in. What's really fucking cool is that you ran in to this fucking baby at the library, the same exact one. That's like super crazy. And the fact that the baby was like so magnetically just like pulled to you and just wanted to be around you and with you the whole time, I feel like maybe that baby has also experienced the other timeline where you were her foster mom, maybe in her dream. Maybe like someone out there heard you saying, oh, I wonder how this baby is doing. And so they allowed you guys to kind of cross paths. That's really fucking cool, man. That is so cool. On to the next one.
Are we being haunted? We've lived in this house now for over 2 years. Don't get me wrong, things have happened. There's been crazy noises. Things have been moved around and stuff like that. We have noticed stuff. But we've always put it down to the fact that it's a really old house. Anyway, today I was cleaning the bathroom, right? This is the bath. Anyway, I was cleaning these side bits, and as I was cleaning, listen, it only fucking opens. So I thought, oh, this is strange. But there is literally stuff inside of here. So then I realised that there was stuff underneath. But I'll put my hand in and pull some things out. Excuse my French, but I wish I hadn't fucking bothered. What the fuck is this? What the actual fuck is this? Now, I know what sage is. I'm not daft. And I'm pretty sure that's sage. There's like grass and like nettles. And like it's got wax, it's literally wax falling off it everywhere. What the hell do I do with this? There is more stuff under here, by the way, guys. Do I pull some more out or just put this back and leave it be?
Okay, so initial thought, this looks like a hex bag, right? I was like, that's a hex bag. But then I was like, but I think that's sage, and I feel like sage isn't used in a hex bag. Then I looked it up, and it looks like sage is used in like a protection bag. So kind of like a hex bag, but not a hex, like for protection instead. So I don't know. Did you put it back? I think you said you put it back, but I'm wondering like if you put it back, if you left it, if you took it out, I'm wondering if you experienced any activity in the house after taking it out, but I think that you left it. First of all, I think that's really fucking crazy that you found that. You just like found that in your house under your bathtub. Second of all, like, why did that person put it there, right? I'm wondering, were they just like trying to protect the house in general and this seemed like a good place to put it? Or was something going on in there and that's why they put it there? Like, if you remove it, will it unleash something? It's like this episode of Supernatural that we just watched where there was some sort of like protection sigil drawn on a wall in the house and it was covered with wallpaper, and then a new owner got the house and they started scraping the wallpaper off and they accidentally scraped part of the sigil, so they broke it and then something crazy got unleashed in the house. Obviously your life is not an episode of Supernatural, but I'm just wondering if you left it there. I feel like it might have been there for a reason, and maybe just leave it. If I was you, I think I would just leave it, and I might even like put some extra protection just in case. Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 226.
Demon in my dorm.
Hi, Auntie Matrix. Hi! I'm so totally addicted to listening to all of your content on TikTok, and I just had to share my crazy story. Yay! So I attended college at a very, very old private college in North Carolina. And by old, I mean it was founded in the 1890s. That's old, man. That's old. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of history there, and apparently some history is not so good. My roommate and I stayed in one of the oldest dorm buildings on campus our freshman year, and let me tell you, that place was haunted. I have always believed in the other side, but boy, did that living in that place make me a true believer. The paranormal activity randomly started one day, and it just progressively got more intense. I remember it started on one random day. My roommate, we'll call her Mary, and I were just sitting in our beds doing homework like we always did in the afternoons. Our dorm was very small and only consisted of 2 beds and 2 desks. She never used her desk to study, but we used it to store items and place things on. Well, her deodorant and her package of chewing gum slid all the way off of her desk onto the floor. These items were sitting in the dead center of her desk, so we knew it wasn't just a draft. It appeared as if someone took their hand and just slowly pushed these things off of the desk at the same time. Mary and I both saw this and just looked at each other with wide eyes. I asked Mary, did you see that? Mary replied, yeah. We both agreed not to pay much attention to it because we didn't want any unseen forces to see that we were frightened. Smart. That is so smart. Normally, like, if you see something or if you hear something, no, you didn't. Little things like this happened almost daily in our dorm room. We just carried on like usual in hopes that it would eventually stop. At this time, we did not feel threatened or on edge being there, at least not yet. Christmas time came around and we decided to decorate our dorm. We put up a very small tabletop Christmas tree on Mary's desk. We decorated it with cute mini round ornaments one day. We then left the room to go hang out with a friend down the hall. When we returned to our room a couple of hours later, the ornaments were scattered all over the room. It looked like somebody had thrown them. They weren't just sitting under the tree or on the desk like they had uneventfully fallen off. They were everywhere, across the room, even on our beds. No one had keys to our dorm except us, and why would anyone do this? This really freaked us out, so in an attempt to protect ourselves, we decorated the room with signs that had Bible verses on them. We went to Hobby Lobby and purchased a cute decorative cross to hang up on our wall. We hung up that cross in the dorm and it fell down numerous times. Thinking it was just due to faulty command strips, we just decided to prop it up on the windowsill. The cross continued to fall over, but each time it was more forceful, appearing as if it was being knocked over by something. This is when we started getting really nervous that something in our dorm wasn't so nice. Oh my god! So of course, what did our smart college student butts do? We decided to try to communicate with this entity using a Ouija board. So smart, right? You already know the answer to that question. We asked a few questions and didn't get much out of it until one of our friends decided to go about asking it things in a more provoking manner. She asked it to show itself, to which it replied, "If I show myself, you will be scared." Why would you do that? Don't do that. She then asked it what it looked like, and it told us that it had all black eyes, long, ragged black hair, and white skin. We asked its name, to which it replied, Kamama. Kamama? Kamama? I can't say it right. Not creepy, right? Okay, it's definitely creepy, but what it Kamama? Kamama? Am I saying that right? I don't know. Our friend then stupidly asks, well, if you're so scary and real, why don't you knock over that cross? And I shit you not, that cross went flying across the room with such force that we all jumped up and ran out of the building as quickly as we could. We were scared out of our minds and I wanted so badly to pack up my crap and move out. Why would you provoke it? Mary and I had a friend who lived across campus. We'll call him Leroy. I told Leroy about all this haunting stuff and he asked if he could borrow the Ouija board for a few days. Of course, we weren't planning on using it anymore, so I gave it to him and told him to have fun. This is important. I didn't give him any specific information regarding what our demon said during our session. After a few days, I asked Leroy if he had used the board. He said yes, and it was spooky. It said its name is Kamama. After this conversation, Leroy told me he was having dreams of Mary and I becoming possessed. This made Mary and I true believers that this thing was real as you and I. Our university was of Lutheran faith and had an on-campus chapel and pastor. I reached out to our pastor in an email and told him about all the haunting things that we had experienced and asked if he would pray for us and come do a blessing of our room. He asked what dorm building we were in. When I told him, he replied, "Yup, I figured. I have heard of this happening before in that building." What? How insane is that? Was it the Ouija board that had the entity connected to it, or did this dorm have more bad history than good? Okay, hold on, because if you're saying, was it the Ouija board that had an entity connected to it? Does that mean you found the Ouija board, like, in the room? Was the Ouija board just in the room? Because I was going to say, it was interesting that you did the Ouija board in that room and talked to that demon, and then you gave it to Leroy across the hall, and he used the same Ouija board and talked to the same demon. But I don't know, honestly, I'm not really sure exactly how Ouija boards work. Like, does it have to be an entity that's in the exact room that you're speaking to. I don't know. I honestly don't know about that. I also want to say, I'm sorry, you just left us hanging though, man. Did the pastor come and bless your room? Was everything okay after that? Are you guys okay? Like what? That's it? I mean, I'm assuming you're okay because you're writing this to me, but like, when were you okay? How did you become okay? Also, if this kind of thing is happening in a building, don't you think that you should maybe let people know when they're going to move in? That would be really nice. Like, hey, demon might be in here. Just like, heads up. Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 227. Mom, was that you? Dear Auntie Matrix, I don't know why I thought that was really cute. Thank you for creating a community where I don't feel like a fool for sharing this. Yeah! Anyways, I love your page and I'm pretty certain this experience brought me to your page and to see your content. I had this experience at the beginning of the year and I've been trying to figure it out ever since. I will tell you a little bit of backstory. I had a pretty rough childhood. I was 10 or more years older than all of my siblings who were all half siblings. My mother had 2 boys and myself. Sadly, when I turned 13, my mother was diagnosed with cancer and that she only had a few weeks to live. Oh my goodness. When I turned 13 in January of 1995, not long after, in February 2nd of 1995, my youngest brother was born. 2 weeks later, she went into the hospital and pretty much did not recover despite chemo and radiation treatments. When she went into the hospital, I ended up taking care of my newborn brother while my other 3-year-old brother was being taken care of by his grandmother. My mother passed away in July of 1995. My young brothers were adopted and I was placed in foster care. So my story, my glitch is this. At the beginning of the year when my nephew was born in February, I had only recently reconnected with my infant brother in January of this year. He and his girlfriend were expecting a baby. I did not know this until the very end of the pregnancy, so I asked the mother if there was anything that I could get the baby. Well, it turned out that the girlfriend is not from here and she had not had a baby shower at all. Let's just say I had a carload of baby stuff in my Xterra from Facebook Marketplace within just a couple of days. One of the items that I was trying to get on Facebook Marketplace was this baby sleeper, something like where the baby sleeps on the side of the bed and its own attached crib. I found one on the marketplace and I messaged the lady about it, and because of one thing or another, she and I ended up not being able to, so I assumed that she sold it to somebody else. About a week later, she reaches back out to me asking if I was still interested, which I was. She was local to me within the same county I lived in, so I offered to pick up the baby sleeper from her home since I knew it was local. I got her address and I put it into the GPS and it was just a 10-minute drive, so I hopped in my car and headed to her place. As I'm getting there, I'm realizing that this is a place that I've lived before. Actually, I've lived here several times in my life because it was a low-income housing and my mother always struggled while she was alive. I turn into the housing complex and I get an odd feeling and I realize that I'm heading straight to the exact address where I lived last with my mother and my little brothers before she was taken by ambulance to never return home. I noticed things have been slightly updated, but the home was exactly the same. The kind lady who sold me the baby sleeper came out to give me the baby item and I just casually mentioned that I had lived there once when I was growing up, and she informed me that they had updated the inside very nicely also. I did not share with her my eerie but good feelings that this was a sign from my mom that she had very much approved of my reconnecting with my brothers and helping with the baby. Or at least that's what my heart wants to believe. I have a few other small things happen, like my mother's name popping up on tags of baby clothing that I've come across to purchase. Her name was Nanette, which is not super common anymore. I would really like to think that all this means something or is a way that she's sending me signs that she approves. I'm not sure if this counts as a glitch or a ghost story, but thank you for reading. Happy spooky season! Oh, thank you so much for sharing that story. It was so sweet. 100% I believe that this was all your mom saying, hi, she's okay. She's so happy that you are connecting with your brothers and that you're helping with the baby. I 100% believe that. I'm so sorry about your mom, but that was so beautiful and heartwarming. Thank you so much for sharing. That concludes our creepy compilation for today. If you enjoyed this, you might also enjoy catching me live on TikTok where we hang out, read people's stories, and chat about them. We have an awesome community of open, loving, and accepting people where our motto is, we believe you. That community extends to Discord as well. Please come and join us in Discord. You can hang out with like-minded people, and I have an announcements channel where I announce things like when I'm going live on TikTok, when I'm posting a new YouTube video, when I'm dropping new merch. It's just a good place to be. You can get the links to my TikTok, my Discord, and everything else over at tecvision.com, linked in the description. In the meantime, you might want to keep it going here and check out this video or this playlist.